So hopefully everybody can see my screen now. As you can see, I've got a chart up on screen. I happen to be looking at the US dollar to the Canadian dollar, but obviously that's just the last chart that I personally was on. We can see the US dollar rising in value compared to the loonie there. So if you're not familiar with Technician, Technician is completely free. You can sign up by going to technicianapp.com. And just click the little login button in the upper right. If you don't already have an account, it'll prompt you to create a free account. With your free account in Technician, you'll get access to all the tools that I'm going to show you today. I'm going to give just a very brief overview, as I know a lot of you guys already use Technician on a day-to-day basis. If you have questions about Technician in general, you can email support@technicianapp.com, or if you go to technicianapp.com, we have a whole resources section that has everything from tutorials on how to use Technician all the way through to information on how to interpret different technical indicators, different trading strategies, how to develop yourself into a better chartist. So let's take a look through just a few different charts. I'm going to go ahead and pull up Alcoa. We'll see how our friends in the aluminum mining industry are doing. Not very well. I'm just scrolling with the scroll wheel on my my mouse here, and we can see that we're going further back in time, and now it's trying to zoom in. If I want to, I can go ahead and zoom in to different time frames. So by default, each candlestick is going to be a day. But if I want to look at just today's data, I can go into a 1-minute chart. So here we're looking at a 1-minute chart. Obviously, we are after market hours, but you'll notice down in the lower left, it's always going to tell you who the source of the data is, which exchange it's coming from. And so in the case of real-time data, what you're going to see by default is going to be BATS for U.S. equities. We do support international markets as well, so you will see those when you go in and start to type ahead. But with most international stocks, they're either 15 minutes delayed or in some cases only available end of day. We are trying to improve that over time, of course, and make more data available to you. So here we can see the American Airlines chart. We can go in and switch, our chart type around, go to a good old-fashioned bar charts. We can look at a line chart, which, although it is quite simple, I actually like focusing just on the close of the day's trades, so I can actually see that, especially if I'm looking at a longer-term chart. We also offer kind of the Japanese chart types, point and figure, Heikin-Ashi, line break, etc. But today I'm just going to go ahead and stick with good old-fashioned candlesticks. If I want to, do some analysis, I try to keep it pretty simple myself with the technical indicators. So we're just going to add a MACD. Here we can change the settings for MACD if we want. Go ahead and create that. I'm going to go ahead and just add a 50-period moving average as well. I prefer an exponential moving average. We do have different weighting mechanisms here you can choose from. I'm going to go ahead and create that moving average. Now, I've got the chart basically to set up the way that I want. Of course, everybody's going to have their own indicators and preferences there. We can also go through and draw in any sort of support or resistance lines on the chart, do Fibonacci's, whatever the case may be. So here I'm just going to go ahead and show you some basic drawing tools. So I'm going to go ahead and just for the heck of it, put in a couple of horizontal lines. So I'm going to go ahead and position my crosshairs, and I'm going to position in that kind of area of support that we see on the 1-minute chart for the past, that looks like past couple of hours. And maybe I want to go ahead and put in, I don't know, a little call out just saying, day's high. Now, it's worth noting that all of these things that you add to the chart are going to be saved automatically. So there's no explicit save button inside Technician. And if I go and I open up the American Airlines chart from my tablet or my smartphone, logged into ChartIQ, or logged into Technician rather, either through my web browser or through our Android and iPad and iPhone apps, all of my drawings and annotations are actually going to be synchronized across those devices. So you'll see the same trend lines, you'll have access to the same tools. The number of studies and things like drawing tools are kind of limited on the phones just because of screen real estate. As you can imagine, it's hard to fit everything into a phone interface. Let's go ahead and just pull up one more chart. and then we're going to go ahead and take a look at some trading capabilities. So here we've got the IBM chart for the day. We've got the indicators as I wanted to lay them out. And what I'm going to do is over here on the right-hand side, you'll notice there are a few different panels that I can open up. So one of them is watch lists, where you can go through and kind of organize different lists of securities. By default, you can add the S&P and the Dow Jones components. You'll also notice that there's a StockTwits panel, which opens up a full StockTwits client. So I can see anybody that is discussing IBM based on having included the cash tag for IBM in there. So I can scroll through that. I can click on links for other symbols that they mentioned and switch over to that chart. But of course, today is to talk about trading. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the trading panel. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you Tradier. But before I do that, I kind of want to introduce Tradier, which is why I was hoping Craig was going to be on the line with us today. But unfortunately, he's not. So for those of you guys who don't know Tradier, Tradier is an equities and options brokerage based here in the US. They have kind of a different model in that instead of giving you a portal that you would log into like a traditional brokerage, they allow you to choose your choice of trading platform and connect to Tradier and execute your trades. So you can pick, if you're an options trader, they have option-specific tools. They're designed just to do analysis of options trades. If, as I'm assuming most of you are, you're a technician, you can actually connect via our product, do all of your technical analysis, and then execute trades directly from the chart itself. So they're a very flexible brokerage in that they do allow you to connect with your own trading platform as opposed to trying to give you a one-size-fits-all. Just so you guys know kind of the basics, Tradier offers trades. Their trading commissions for equities are $3.49 an order, so quite low. Options contracts are 35 cents a contract. There are some minimums for options contracts. I think it's a $5 minimum, but most people aren't trading one contract at a time. They do also offer trading based on margin. And the margin interest rates run from 4.5% to 5.5% based on your volume there. So if you have any questions about that, you can go to brokerage.tradier.com. We'll send that link out to everybody in case you don't have it. It's tradier.com. And they have all of their pricing, all of the platforms, including technician listed there. So if you have any questions, you can go take a look at their site. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this connect account. Now, if you don't have an account with Tradier yet, that's fine. You can go through and open one up. And in fact, we're going to provide you guys with a, I need to grab the password for this. We're going to provide you guys with a discount code, which is TECH500, which will actually allow you to get $500 in trading credits for those commissions. So at $3.49 a trade, you can execute quite a few trades just with the trading credit that they're offering you guys by coming through us today. So Stephen, I'll send that out both in the chat panel, and I think we'll send out an email afterwards. So this is where I always fail, is that when you want to connect your account, you have to put in your Tradier username and password, and then it's going to ask you a couple of questions to make sure that you're a human being. Now, I always get these wrong, so we're going to find out, because I can't personally remember if it's in Arizona or if it's in New Mexico. I'm going to say it's in New Mexico, but I might not be a human being. We'll find out. Nope, wrong response. What month is Thanksgiving? I'm going to go with November. Please tell me I'm human. What day is Valentine's Day? February the 14th. And I'm going to go ahead and check this little box down here, which will remember this computer for 30 days, so that you don't have to go through this process every time you want to connect. Obviously, for security purposes, it's very important that they make sure it's really you, but you don't want to have to go through this every time. So we're going to go ahead and verify it. You're going to approve access to your account for ChartIQ's Technician. So let's approve access. And then it's going to bring us back to Technician. So we started from within Technician. We clicked on the thing to connect to our Tradier account, and we're going to get brought back into Technician to the chart that we were looking at. Now, when I open up the trading panel, you'll notice that it looks a little bit different this time. So now, I can actually see all of my account information. So I can see my net liquidation value, I can see unsettled cash, I can see unrealized gains or loss, and I can go through and see any sort of positions that I have. You can see that we have some option legs in here in addition to an equity, and I can see any sort of open orders that I have pending. If you're on a small screen, and I am in fact on a tiny little laptop, you can actually click this little condense button down at the bottom. It's going to show you just a very simplified view. So we've got all of our information, our existing positions. If I want to go ahead and see this one, I can go ahead and click on the ticker symbol. It's going to pull up that chart. So now I can actually see, my cost basis was $48.12. So obviously I'm doing very well here. Perhaps I want to sell off part of my position. So I've got 1,300 shares. I've got a gain, I've got an unrealized gain of $1,755. So maybe I want to sell some of that off. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click on the sell button, and you'll notice this new little component showed up on the screen. And what I can do is I can actually drag this up or down to where I want to put in my order for. And you'll notice it says, I can fill in how many of my 300 shares do I want to sell. I'm going to say I want to sell 300 of my 1,300 shares. I'm going to go ahead and position this up just a little bit higher where I think it's going to go, let's say tomorrow. So at $49.58. It's going to show me how much I'm actually going to realize as a gain or take as a loss when that trade executes. I'm going to go ahead and click on the sell button, get a little confirmation dialog, and I'm going to go ahead and submit that. Now, once the trade has gone from Technician over to Tradier and has been accepted by their system, you'll notice that I now have a little red flag out here on the chart showing exactly at the price level where I have an order. And it shows 300, and because it's red tab, I know that it is, in fact, a sell order. What I'm going to do is put in a buy order just so you can see the opposite. So we'll say maybe I want to add to my position. So here I'm going to drag this down and say if it gets this low, I want to go ahead and buy another 1,000 shares. I'm going to go ahead and put this one as good until canceled. Click buy, and I'm going to go ahead and confirm the details of my order and click submit. So now you can see I have 2 orders on the chart that are active orders, but obviously because those prices haven't reached yet, they have not been triggered. Now I'm looking at the 1-minute chart, so we have a lot of granularity here. If I switch out to the longer term view and look at a 1-day chart, now I can see they're kind of clustered together because we were looking at a very short period of time, and we can see the overall movement of the stock. If I say, oh, that's way too close, the price action is just too tight there, I can actually tap on this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and modify the sell order. So I'm actually going to drag this up maybe to where I think things are actually going to move over a longer time horizon. I can again change the quantity, change how long it's good for. I could cancel it all together, but here I'm just going to click the replace button. What it's going to do is it's going to show me the old order with the new order side by side, highlighting the areas where things are different. Go ahead and submit that. Nope. And it's actually rejecting my change order, but you'll see how that goes when the market is open and their systems are responding as you'd expect. So now I can go ahead and take another look, see that I'm happy with where I am, and I'm going to go ahead and switch over back to our IBM chart. So now with IBM, I might want to simply enter a market order. Of course, the markets are closed, but if I want to go ahead and just put in a market order, I can go ahead and click on the market button. It's going to allow me to see the bid and ask. I can go ahead and simply put in the number of shares that I want to buy, or in reverse, you can put in the number of dollars that you want to put to work. And I have the ability to actually click directly from the chart whenever I want. I will get a confirmation dialog, and then you can go ahead and enter that market order directly. Down here below, you'll always get a summary of open orders. Again, I'm on a very small laptop, so you see there's not a lot of space down there. Bigger screen, you'll have more space, and if it gets too long, you can actually scroll through it. So that way you can kind of quickly get a view of any orders that you have that are out there and pending. Let's pause for just a second and take a look at questions. Let's see. Unfortunately, we do have Forex data. So if you go in, you'll see real-time Forex data. However, Tradier doesn't do Forex at the moment. So we are working to add Forex trading capability potentially through other brokerages. The other question I see herein is level 2 quotes. We actually don't include level 2 quotes at this time. We are adding some new functionality, and for those of you guys who are interested, we're actually going to be making a version of Technician available that you'll be able to download and run from the desktop instead of having it in a browser. You'll still be able to access from a browser when you're on the road, but when you're at your desk with 4 screens and you want to drag things out with multiple windows, and it's probably at that point that we're going to add a level 2 display. Otherwise, things tend to get a little kind of crunched up here inside a single browser window or on a single tablet screen. Another question about commodities. While we do have futures data, we do not offer futures trading right now. So Tradier is our brokerage partner. However, they don't offer futures clearing. So FX and futures are not asset classes that they offer at this time. We'll be thrilled when they add those in. And in the meantime, we'll probably be connecting to a couple of FCMs as well as FX brokers. So if you have questions about that, I would actually ask you to do us a favor and send an email to support@technicianapp.com. Tell us what asset class you trade, who you currently trade through, and if you like them. So it's always good for us to know. You know, we've been working with Tradier because we love these guys. Great reputation, you know, fantastic folks in the space. But we do want to increase the number of asset classes, as well as support traders outside the U.S., whereas currently Tradier only takes U.S. accounts. Now, it's worth noting up here in the little people menu that I can see that I've got Tradier and I've got a couple of different accounts with Tradier. So I can actually switch between those if you have multiple accounts that are underneath here. So depending on your account structure with them, I can also disconnect from Tradier. So now I've kind of closed out and you'll notice I'm kind of back to where I was. So you can always disconnect your Tradier account from Technician. Now, if you don't have a Tradier account yet, and you know, either hopefully you'll set one up. If you do set one up, make sure you in the little drop down tell them that you came from us so that they know. But you can actually do demo trading. So what I'm going to do is actually just click on demo, and you'll see that we basically get a portfolio of stocks over here. And everybody gets the same ones. You start out with the same amount of cash, and you can actually paper trade from here. So if you want to play around with what we were showing you guys today, so with IBM, you know, I've got, I'm long 1,000 shares. I have a couple of sell orders in place. They're way up here above the price action. I might want to go ahead and put in a new order. I can do that. So you can actually play around with this, even if you don't yet have a Tradier account, or if you open a Tradier account, but you're waiting for it to get funded. You can actually use the demo trading interface, which will allow you to create and check out the capabilities without having a Tradier account yet. You'll also notice a few other order types, which we are working with Tradier to make available. So for instance, if I want to buy 100 shares of Alcoa and I want to add a conditional stop order, I can actually just click the little button, drag my stop loss down to where I want it. I can even click to add a take profit and put in a conditional order up above. So we're basically constructing a multi-leg order here where we're going to have a buy order that will then trigger a bracket of 2 sell orders that are conditional to each other. So in the parlance, this would be an OTO linked to an OCO. So you get to kind of see what that looks like. So we're working with Tradier to add that capability now. They've got the capability to do it. They're exposing it through the API to us, and we do expect to have that this fall. It looks like a few more questions. Is it possible to trade with other brokers? Not yet. Not yet. Tradier is our first brokerage partner. We will be adding more both here in the US as well as internationally. Again, if you have specific questions, feel free to send us an email either with which broker you use or which country you're in. As far as Forex in the demo, you should be able to, but we're going to try that out just to make sure that I keep honest. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the US dollar to the Aussie dollar. I'm going to go ahead and put in a market order. Now, in this case, I'm going to buy, 100 lots. You can actually specify your stop loss or your take profit in pips. So if I want to put in a stop loss down below in 15 pips, go ahead and hit submit and enter that order. So you'll see things are just slightly different. Again, now I'm short 100 shares, and I want to go ahead and cover that. So now I want to cover my 100 shares and cover it down here. So you'll get to see how it works with any sort of asset just in the trade environment. So we can see all of our orders down here where we've got obviously the US to the Aussie, and then we've got our equities down below. We would like to offer the ability to actually connect to multiple brokerage accounts at once. So if you use Tradier for equities and you trade through someone else for FX, that type of thing. Tradier is not a market maker. I don't work for Tradier, so I can't say that with absolute certainty, but they're a broker. I can't remember who they clear through, if it's clearing through Apex. I think they have all the details of that on their website. Again, I'm sorry, with the technical difficulties, we weren't able to have Craig from Tradier present. But they are they're a good old-fashioned brokerage, and in my opinion, a very good one at that. So I know this was kind of brief. Stephen, do you have other things that I was supposed to cover today? I'm looking through the notes that you sent me to make sure that I cover everything. That's kind of the basics of how trading from the chart works. Do note, again, it works from the iPad, it works from the iPhone, it works from all your major web browsers across Mac and PC. So we do support Internet Explorer version 9 and above, Safari, Firefox, and Chrome. For the best performance, we always recommend Chrome, but you can use the browser of your choice. Couple of other details. I mentioned that trades are $3.49 for equities. They do have a minimum account size of $1,000. With that, I will open the floor to any questions about trading from the chart or technician in general. We'll have questions about the weather, anything in particular. It looks like everybody is shy of questions today, so that's okay. It looks like we were able to address most of the questions during the actual webinar itself. I thank you guys for joining. Check it out, try it. The demo lets you kind of play around with trading from the chart, kind of get used to it and see if it's something that you like. Again, the folks at Tradier couldn't be nicer, and I highly recommend that you check them out. And if you don't already have a technician account, like I said, it's completely free. You can sign up at technicianapp.com or download our apps from the Google Play Store or the Apple, whatever they call it, the iTunes App Store.